I mean, I can share something that happened to my wife when I was around. Okay, I'm not mansplaining this. I mean, the irony that we are two men talking about the victim of an upskirt is very apparent to me. But I think I can share this, that there was once I was with my wife and she was walking in front of me, and then I saw her like basically streak and like kind of jerk and run away to a corner. And that rarely ever happens to my wife because she's a freaking force of nature. She's a warrior, basically. Sure. And just seeing that, I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I realized that she was flashed, right? I was flashed by this uncle. And then I was just in shock. And I realized that physically they are at such a huge disadvantage, right? It's not the act of that violation, but also, when you're in the toilet, there's a good chance that you can fight that guy, or at least physically defend yourself. But in a female's case, they have to live with the fact that they can't do shit, right? Like if this guy is going to be physical with them, they are helpless in a way, right? Unless they're trained. So I feel they have to live with that as well. And that is even scarier, right? To know that you are vulnerable.
But the crazy part is you say fight it back, but technically, the guy is not physically putting his hands on you or anything right?
But they could, right?
They could.
If you shout or you scream or you try and stop him or whatever, he could physically harm you, and that will let you think twice or stop you from saying anything. Yeah. Because of that
so
fear.
You were there, so what was your reaction to the person,
I basically went to the guy and I scolded him. I see. And I asked him what the hell is he doing. And then he's obviously, he has some mental issues, I feel. He's someone that is clearly not thinking clearly. So I told him to never do it again. I took out his IC. And then I took a photo of his IC. And then I say, if I ever see you doing this again, because it was near my neighborhood, if I ever see you around here again, I'm going to call the police. So, and then I did see him again.
Oh, this was in Singapore or in Taiwan?
In Singapore.
In Singapore, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I did call the police. And then I told the police I got this person's IC. And the police said, that's illegal.
What is illegal? Taking a photo of his IC?
Yes, you are not allowed to ask people to give out their IC, and you cannot take photos of your IC. So I am actually in the wrong. I'm like, oh, really? Then they did investigate the case, but I mean, he's basically mentally handicapped in a way. So he asked me if I want to press charges or anything, but honestly, what are you going to do about that? It's such a difficult thing, right? You want to go through all that and then lock him up or what? And then he's going to come out and then you think he's going to stop because he's not in full capacity, right? And so, then that's the end of that. I mean, we are sidetracking, but that's what happened.
No. And there's also the aspect of even if you report the police, there's firstly what will happen. But secondly, also, it kind of means that you kind of prolong the mental torture that you and your wife have to go through, right? Talking about the incident and everything. Right?
It was not super traumatic for my wife, I feel, because she did share with me a couple of experiences. And I think almost all female have a couple of experience, being flashed, being upskirt, or, when they are in the toilet and there's a pervert and stuff like that. Yeah. So to think about it, it's so common that it's quite scary. Quite scary.
Yeah. But I mean,
not goofy at all. This is not a goofy topic. What the hell?
So maybe the goofiness of it is why the headline felt quite inappropriate after we've been talking about this and all. Yeah. But did all these incidences and understanding the perspective from your wife and your female friends and all that, does that help you understand why some of these people do it? Because it's not always about mental illness. Literally, this guy he works in a bank. Yeah. He has a job in Marina One, and he's married. He's got a wife and everything. So that we're definitely talking about a normally functioning person and all who has this obsession, right? 273 videos of his two colleagues. That's these are colleagues that you probably eat lunch with and you have friendships with. You've seen their spouses or partners or whatever. But for some reason, something about, taking upskirt videos or what gets them off? Like, do you think about why that happens?
I think about why, but I think it's way beyond my pay grade to dissect that and basically truly understand. And it's probably very individual, right? Like whatever happened to them, and honestly speaking, I don't judge. Okay, let me explain on that. Don't just cut out this part.
Yeah.
Okay, like whatever gets you off, gets you off. I have no problem with whatever weird fetish you have, right? And it's not weird, whatever fetish you have, whatever you like. But I mean, like you have to do it through consensual manner, right? And to me, that's the line. So if you like upskirt video and your partner is fine with it, or like you get it through proper means, then I honestly have no qualms about it. But once you cross that line, then you can't it's just illegal. It's criminal.
Yeah, but do you think
I can't think of that. I can't phantom the mental part of it. Yeah.
But you think there's anything to do with how they say shoplifting, for example? It's not so much about the whatever is being shoplifted. A lot of it is about the thrill of getting away with something and not getting caught. Do you think there's the element for this in terms of like upskirting?
Definitely, but is that psychoanalysis already? Like what specifically are you getting from it? I'm sure there are people who shoplift because they want the thing, right?
Item, of course,
like me when I was young, when I shoplifted, it's because I wanted that pack of magic card, not because I like the thrill. But I mean, psychologically, we are all not we are all, but a lot of us are deficient in some areas, right? And we need to do things to make us feel whole. And I think without going into depth, this is not my area of expertise, but it's just they need to do that to soothe a certain part of their emotion psychology. And I think that's probably the reason.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, we go a lot into the psychoanalysis if we try to analyze what's going on. But
exactly.
I think, and this is me just going on a bit of a limb to talk about it.
Yeah.
But there is a certain thrill, and this is not advocating
personally,
any
you are telling me yes.
No. Let me finish my sentence. There is a certain thrill. There was a certain thrill when Harish and I, as Ministry of Funny, when we are doing a lot of the on the street videos, those on the street hidden camera kind.
Yeah.
We're not doing upskirt or anything but there was the thrill of like, I have my camera, I'm hiding behind bushes or a pillar, and we're filming an interaction where one party knows that it's a part of a bigger prank or something like that, and then the other party is sort of just interacting normally, getting on with the day There definitely was a thrill of like, we're capturing a real slice of interaction between people where one doesn't know that they're being filmed and all. Of course, after that, we will go up to them, we will tell them, explain everything we're doing, and we will ask for their permission. We'll get signed releases, everything. I just want to caveat, we get releases and all that. And then if they say they don't want it to be featured, okay, then we're fine. But most of the time, people they understand what we're trying to do, and we're never doing anything like upskirt or nefarious or anything. So they actually, okay, this is interesting. I don't mind. But there is that thrill, definitely of like of knowing that what you're capturing is a very authentic interaction, authentic slice of how the person really acts in public, And I'm not trying to apply that to something illegal, but I'm just trying to explain how, on a spectrum there is that the element of the thrill of seeing someone in a very authentic state, and that if you take it to a very ugly extreme is what drives a lot of this kind of behavior, upskirting. And like you, I also wonder, is it? I always hear a lot about all these upskirt videos takers in Singapore, or is it like something in Singapore society where we are very, so bottled up and cannot access a lot of websites and all that we are like that, Because I don't know, is your experience in Taiwan? Do you
can
feel
use VPN?
That's true. Correct. Yeah. Shout out to VPNs. And this podcast is brought to you, but no, it's not brought to you by VPN. But yeah, I mean, but in Taiwan, are there all these incidences of?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, really?
I think this is quite a common societal problem everywhere in the world. So I don't have enough data to say which country is worse, but it seems like Japan also has quite a serious problem with this as well, right? So it feels like like before we started this podcast, remember I was saying about like how the society is very warped and we are all forced to live in a very unnatural way and all that. And I think that's probably has to do with one of the causes of this. Yeah. Can I jump into another point of view for this?
Sure.
I have my observation from the article. Do you realize that they completely skip over the part of what happened between the upskirter being identified and the police coming?
Skipped over meaning
they say they identified the upskirter, right? The person, the criminal, and then the police came. Right. Correct. What happened in between? That was my question. So because my next question is that I'm not gonna be upskirt because I don't wear a skirt, right? But what if I saw someone taking a video of someone of doing the act, right? So what am I going to do about it? The police is not gonna come in 30 seconds. So what should I do? That was not being addressed in the article, right? Should I physically detain him? How did they make him not run away? So that's my question. So how should you actually act if you see an act like that? Because that's more important, that's more valuable, right? Because I'm sure some people have seen it happen but just kept quiet and went on with their life, right? Because they don't know what to do.